tylko z powodu tego silnika, tak podejrzewam.
Wiesz co?
Ale skąd
To
wiecie,
co
że to
gadałeś
będzie
kiedyś,
nowa
że
gra?
nowy silnik będą robili.
Nic nie było, że to będzie
To
nowa
mogłeś
gra.
mieć kurwa rację. W
Nic nie było, że to
sensie-
będzie nowa gra.
Nie wiem,
No ale
może
co
jakoś...
to
To nie
jest
jest to więcej, tylko przez to wiesz.
To jest nowa gra! To jest nowa gra, 100%.
Nie no, to jest nowa, no.
No będzie...
No.
Nie, to nie... Nie.
Walczaj, co Bobert Szlafmyca? No to jest ciekawe.
Diablo 4, teraz ja nie oglądam.
Walczenie o robota. O kurde.
Przepychanka.
Przepychanka. Dziwnie to brzmi trochę, ale no.
Przepychanka.
Przepchanie, bo... Nie, przepchanie się brzmi jeszcze.
Rush. O, i Siomer robi giveawaya.
Ale ten... Cinematic super.
No.
Dobra, aż wejdę na
W nowym
WPL.
Overwatchu jest 9 bohaterów.
A Kubot, a co to jest... Co to jest... O co ci chodziło z tą echo?
Co echo?
Bo coś tam gadałeś, że echo potwierdza, na o co chodziło?
Żartowałem przecież, ale tak wiesz,
Aha,
bo jakby
super,
było na tym
fajnie.
cinematyku, to myślałem, nie? Kurde, że... A tu chuja, tylko Sojourn.
No to było
Znaczy,
echo.
ja-
Ale o co ci chodzi z
Właśnie,
Sojournem?
teraz
To było
będzie
echo i
echo.
Jatena przecież po prostu. Było echo i Jatena przecież.
Dobra, obejrzyj sobie jeszcze raz ten gameplay trailer.
Jesteś
Ja
literami,
bym
to było
poczekał
echo
na
i
panel jakiś rozszerzający, bo to na razie tak jakoś mi nie przemawia. Znaczy...
No to była po prostu zapowiedź panelu, który
No.
będzie, nie?
Jeff powiedział o wielu postach, więc pewnie echo w tym też będzie.
To jest
Kurde.
kurwa nie takim Discordem na telefon.
Gdzie to jest
Przecież to
Florek?
kiedyś to było kurwa nadgłośnik telefoniczny, a tak w windzie sobie odpaliłem i jadę z 4 osobami, a tutaj dedek. Nie, dzisiaj nie będzie update'a, tylko będzie później. Ona biega, kurwa, głośnik na full, ja pierdolę.
No i oryginalny Overwatch to już jest właściwie dead
Nie.
Czemu?
Czemu?
Nie.
Tak właściwie.
No, niekoniecznie, bo to będzie
No
przecież...
keyboardę.
W dwójce będzie... Kurwa. To mnie wkurza, bo tak niejasno to wytłumaczyli, o co
Bo to,
będzie
no bo
chodziło,
będzie
że
panel dopiero,
tak
będę
swoją
mówił.
drogą to nie wiadomo nic więcej poza tym, co zlikowali tak naprawdę.
Ale daj mi 100 dni
Nowy wygląd jest kozacki, mi
Dobra,
się
to
podoba.
będzie ten gameplay jeszcze raz. Ale jak Rain przypierdolił tym młotem w ziemię, nie? To było
To
zajebiste.
było OP.
W ogóle
i ta
gościu
bagieta
Genji z
pod
deflectem
baczem
wjechał.
swoim. A naprawdę fajnie, jak się tak przeszuwa z tubakiem.
Mi się podoba ten nowy
wygląda
wygląd.
tak samo.
Reinhardt bez
Kika.
już hełmu.
Co?
No,
Reinhardt
jest
bez
na-
hełmu będzie.
Gościu, ja będę grał Genji tylko
Ale jak...
na klasyczną
kurwa,
skinie.
ale to jest cinematic.
Ale pod względem wyglądu, według mnie Winston się najmniej zmienił.
No,
On ma chyba inny kolor stroju trochę.
Ale ten Genji, kurna.
No, ale ten Genji wcześniej był taką typową postacią dla edgy 11-latków. Teraz jest jeszcze bardziej, nie?
No,
Ale ten Reinhardt też wygląda jak to mistrz, nie?
a ja czekam na wiesterunki.
Mi się nie podoba jego broda.
Ja chciałem taką jego bluzę sukienkę.
no. To będzie po prostu przepchanie jakieś, wywalony typ.
Ale dobra, będzie Monte Carlo, czyli pewnie tam będzie siedziba szponu czy coś takiego.
Zobaczymy wszystko.
Wykorzystaj moce i uratuj świat.
Ej, ale Reaper się w ogóle nie zmienił, jak patrzę tak.
Gdzie ty masz Flipera?
Jest na tym gameplayu.
Serio?
Tak, jest... znaczy,
Jak jest jak walczą na drodze 66, to tam Aszkę leczy łaska. Może aż będzie mogła tam być.
Tutaj chyba jeszcze nie ma nowych modeli, tak mi się wydaje na tym trailerze.
Ale tak swoją drogą to HUD, czy tam UI wygląda chujowo.
2,30.
Oni to podzielili na całe, kurde, powstanie Overwatch, taka mapa jakby, myśl.
Co ten Reinhardt rzuca?
No to jest, kurde, rework May.
Ej, oni tutaj w ogóle mają jakieś mega... Jakieś co mam 90 sekund odnowienia.
Co?
Ej, właśnie, a jak wy to zrobicie? Kupujecie Overwatcha 2 i w 2 co będziecie grali na PvP czy w 1?
No w czwórkę goście, co
No
ty?
ogólnie obecni gracze Overwatch będą mogli walczyć u boku posiadaczy Overwatch
tak, ale
2.
jak-
podczas-
No,
Ale w
to
PvP,
To
w
Diablo
PvP tylko.
4 unveiled.
Co?
DDT.
Teraz o Diablo gadają.
A to stream, ja na tym streamie to chuja widać u ciebie.
No tam nic nie ma u ciebie, Dedek. A on teraz jest.
Jest już, no, zrobiłeś streama już dobrego?
Na której stronie jest...
A dałbyś radę jakoś nas wyciszyć na Discordzie tam, czy nie?
Nie, bo to trzeba mieć dwie...
My
dwie-
name is
dwie-
Luis Barriga, game director for Diablo 4.
Dobra, już
My
widać na
name's
streamie
Tiffany
wszystko, czy nie?
Watt, senior producer on Diablo 4.
Gdzie
Dedek.
ten streamie?
And my name is John Mueller, art director on Diablo 4.
Wow.
What's up? We're here!
Ej, w ogóle Sojourn ma chyba railguna,
We
tak
can
mi się
finally
wydaje.
talk about Diablo
Nie,
4.
Sojourn ma
Yeah,
jakby
it's,
mechaniczną broń.
it's been a long time.
Ale ma też taką broń, jak masz na tym gameplay trailerze, gdzieś w drugiej minucie 24 sekundzie. To mi na railguna trochę wygląda.
Overwatch 2, Shadowlands.
Co to za UI? Kurwa, to wygląda jak robione w
Yeah,
paincie.
I mean, just amazing to be here with all of you to share this. I mean, I think, you know, for us on the dev team, we've been working on this for a while. And so to finally be able to be here with all of you is really...
Gość, to
No,
było
jest-
robione tylko na potrzeby cinematika, przecież w grze to będzie inaczej.
All
Co
right.
ty
Znaczy to będzie inaczej, to będzie tak samo jak z betą. W becie było to chujowe,
Właśnie.
ale potem już było dobre.
Znaczy, no tak, ale
We'll get into it. We have a ton of stuff, but you're gonna set the stage for us.
No.
wygląda...
That's
W
right,
ogóle
let's
sama
set the
gra
stage a little
gorzej
bit.
wygląda moim zdaniem, tak
All right,
bardziej...
Diablo 4 takes place
Nie
decades
wiem.
after
No
the
bo nowy
events of
silnik, to
Rebirth.
wiesz, no.
No,
The Malthael's
może, ale tak
plans
bardziej
were foiled,
plastycznie
the
jakby.
Angel
Nie,
of
nie,
Death
ciężko mi to
exacted
opisać.
terrible
Tak,
toll on humanity.
tak bardziej jak taka bajka. Jeszcze
No.
bardziej.
Czemu Orka
Entire
Bołek ma głos jak
population
Alfie?
decimated, cities
On ma głos jak ja?
ravaged.
No.
Heaven itself
Okej.
suffered great losses, causing
A w
them
ogóle to co
to
Reinhardt rzuca
shudder
ma
the gates.
cooldown tam 90 sekund.
You can close the gates, that's terrible.
And you can
Ah,
imagine what that does to people. Religions,
Zobaczycie tam
religious
mapę, nie? To jak
schisms,
to nad
famine,
poszczególnymi
war,
jakby
basically
miastami są
humanity
symbole.
left to our own devices. And we know how well we do on our own.
Not so good.
Ej, no.
And it's against
Czekaj,
this
sektor
backdrop
zero
of
tu
despair
jest?
Ja na
that
drodze
Lilith
66 nie
returns,
ma,
and
a
that's
to
when those
pokazywali
events in
dwa.
that
Nie wiem, bo
cinematic
może,
you guys witnessed,
Wiesz co? Myślę, że
This is important because in
tam
the
gdzie masz
mythos of
te logo,
Sanctuary,
tam będziesz walczył
Lilith
z omnikami,
is the
a
mother
tam
of
gdzie nie ma ze
humanity.
szponem, może coś
Lilith
takiego.
represents
Ale tam na
that
drodze 66
demonic
pokazali
half
omników.
that we all have inside our hearts. In that mythos, she and the angel Inarius, along with other rebel angels and rebel demons,
Może,
tired of this
nie wiem,
endless
nie
great
pasowały.
conflict, created a world that would be
Kurwa, niech pokażą bohaterów. Czy coś, powiedzą, cokolwiek.
free of
Że
conflict,
będzie panel,
called
idioto, no.
Sanctuary.
Aha.
And along with that, they created the first mortals.
Czekajcie, mam coś takiego,
That's a legend, that's what we've
to
heard.
gdzieś...
The scary part about that is, she knows our hearts. She knows what motivates us and can manipulate us. The other scary
Obczajcie
part
to,
of
bo mi
that,
się nie
she's
chce
Mephisto's
wczytać, mam za
daughter.
wolny net.
That's right. So she represents a link to an even greater threat, the greater evils.
Mi też się tu wczytać nie
So
chce.
even though she was summoned for reasons we were not ready to divulge quite yet, we know it
Po
can't be
prostu
good.
ciągle rewatchuję to.
And with heaven having closed their gates, there's no one to answer our prayers. Even the
Ale
horizon.
ogólnie głupie na moim zdaniem na tym cinematiku było, że omniki atakują miasto i kurwa jedyni cywile to są 3 osoby, nie? Tak trochę bez sensu.
Amen.
Aha, tu jest...
All right, that's the stage upon which Diablo 4 is set. But let's talk a little bit more about Diablo 4. Help
Jest
us out,
Diablo, więc
Tiffany.
nikt nie ogląda.
Alright, guys, we're gonna go on a journey together. But before that, let's take a look at what Diablo 4 is. So, Diablo 4 is a classic isometric action RPG.
Fucking nigger.
That classic camera. We wouldn't let it go. No way.
It's going to feature a dark, non-linear campaign.
And we're not gonna
Ej,
spoil
Alfie,
any of the
no, co
details
tam?
about that campaign
Pamiętasz
today,
taką,
but you'll get to meet
kurna,
some of the
w
folks in
Destiny
charge
taka
of it,
fioletowa
including our
bomba
new
jakby,
creative
nie?
director,
U kogo to
Sebastian
było?
Skypian.
To miał czarownik?
Will that be a
Wow.
shared
Ale
open
wiesz o
world
co mi
with
chodzi,
five
takie fioletowe.
distinct,
No,
contiguous
brzmiowa i ona tak
regions?
wybuchała.
You'll be able to
O
go
co ci
from the
chodzi?
tip of Scotland all the way down to
No, to tak, no, takie...
And day-night cycles.
Weź zobacz, co ci na privie
Kurwa,
wysłałem.
ja już chcę zagrać. Halo.
Bez kitu Destiny.
Regions of dungeons to
O Jezu,
explore and
już ta
hundreds
grupka
of
płaczą.
legendaries to find and equip.
Smutno mi tylko, że wydałem kasę na Overwatcha i po czasie nikt to nie grał, a na nowego slot.
Anioł, kojarzysz Destiny, co
Alright, there's
ma
five
ten
powerful
ten
classes.
fioletowy
Three
wybuch.
that we announced
Ten
today
fioletowy
and are
wybuch
playable
czarodzieja
in
w
the demo,
Destiny.
the sorceress, the barbarian, and the
Kurwa, czemu
druid.
internet?
No to patrz na priv.
The druid, yeah.
Identyczne.
All right, so like Tiffany
bez
said,
kitu.
we're starting
Ej,
a
bez
journey
kitu,
together.
kurwa, Destiny.
You know, you may recall in the opening
Ale
ceremony,
mam nadzieję, że te
said
skille
that
to
Diablo
będą
4
tylko
Ej,
na
ej,
PvP.
ej, ej,
World,
ej,
Legacy,
ej.
and
Guys,
Darkness.
teraz...
Panel Overwatchu będzie o 9:30.
All right.
Jak
At the
on?
highest level, what this means is that when you play Diablo 4, everything you will see and experience will feel immersive and faithful
Tak,
to the legacy of what we all love about Diablo. How's that sound? All right.
Chcecie
I
info
wanted
czy
to
nie?
give you an idea what we mean when we say that. You might
Halo,
wonder,
nie,
you know,
dobra,
is
to
it
patrzę
mature
gumę.
themes? Is it blood? Is it gore? There's a little bit of gore in that trailer, right? Just a little bit. And you know, is it the music, right? It's all of these things. And what we like to say is it's the totality.
Panel
of
Overwatchu
that
będzie
tone
o
that
9:30.
creates that
Ej, nie,
experience
teraz
that
tak
we
sobie,
all
ciekawi
love.
mnie, co tu May miała, taka
And
bomba
I
jakaś
think, like, you know,
przenosi.
the Butcher's Pit,
A
Diablo
ja
1,
pierdolę
you know, you
Kubo.
go down, you open that door, everything seems fine, and then it goes horribly wrong, right? Bodies.
Jezu, nie
eviscerated,
popatrz
crazy guy
się.
coming out with a butcher's knife. And in our trailers
Kiedy
today, you saw
będzie
that as well. It's
teraz
like
jak
everything was
będzie
fine until they
kupował,
open
to
that door.
same uderzenie
No,
będzie jak u
that
Domkista.
doors are bad.
Ej, Jezu, ja pierdolę, to już ma 1000 łapek w dół,
This is what
serio?
we're really excited about. It's that
Trailer?
contrast. It's
No,
not,
to wszystko.
It's not monotonous,
No,
right?
trochę
We want
rozumiem
to create
ludzi.
that sense of space,
To co, możemy
that
mówić, że
world that
ten-
we're really excited to explore.
Ja chciałem PV i jest PV jelo.
Dobra, ale chyba dam łapę w górę.
All
bo mi
right,
się
so
podoba.
here's how this idea affects our
Ja
heroes.
też.
Ale
You know, we've taken a more
połowa
grounded
skilli,
approach to presenting the
których
world of
mówiliśmy,
Sanctuary.
to
You
jest
can really see it in
prawda.
this piece. It's
To jest
everything
śmieszne.
from the palette to the design of the armor, to the design of the weapons, to how we treat magic, and the classes. You see the druid, the barbarian, and the
Nie,
sorceress
to nie kupuj, ja
engaging in
walę, masz
combat
problem.
with monsters from different realms around Sanctuary.
Ale dobra,
And
wsiadam
this
i
piece
jedziemy,
really
no.
evokes the kind of
Parę
tone
nowych
and that
map.
Gościu,
feeling
nic
that
jeszcze
we're after.
o tej grze
And
nie
it
wiemy.
really affects all things
Na
in the
razie co
world.
wiemy, to
A to
nie jest
zacznijmy.
taka nowa gra.
Panel Overwatchu
Alright, so how would this tone
będzie
affect
za
the
godzinę.
world of Sanctuary?
Jest jak
We
DLC.
have this vast open world, and we want to immerse you into that medieval.
I ten panel będzie
Fajnie by
trwał
było, gdybym mógł
45
obejrzeć,
minut,
ale
więc
nie.
pokczamp.
Dobra, ja powiem kulturalnie orka zamknij mordę. Dziękuję.
Orka,
No,
bo
nie
przekazuje ci od
wystarczy.
nic, żebyś utkał mordę.
No, ale będzie czekanie, nie?
No jeszcze 20 minut.
Dobra, chłopaki, ja
Ale
muszę gacie
zajebiście ta
zrobić.
strona Overwatch wygląda teraz.
No,
No. Muszę ten kręcić.
Potyczki drużyn, nowy tryb, przepychanka.
no ta gra będzie kozak. Szkoda, że ich jej sobie nie kupię. Anaki.
The drowned
Co ty
caverns,
że mi dałeś
and the
tutaj link?
Hangman's Tree to the south, which is one of my personal
Dobra, to ja będę
favorites.
za
And
godzinę.
then Keeler Farm, which kind of evokes these Diablo 1 vibes. Like the artist who built that, he was so excited about to
Ja
put that
myślę,
into
że
the
będzie
demo.
kosztowało-
Great inspiration.
Na pewno mniej niż
Yeah.
60 dolarów.
These are all areas that remind us that we're in the world of Diablo and what we mean when we talk about Return to Darkness.
But it's not just present in the art, this darkness. It is in the world, our gameplay, and the stories we tell. So what we mean by that is our world is medieval RPG, but
Co?
rather than being
No,
inspired by
no,
high
nie trzeba było być
fantasy,
geniuszem,
we're
żeby
inspired
mieć
by
taką
the
teorię.
occult, the
Mimo
demonic.
No w sumie to racja.
Wszyscy
What we
przewidzieli.
mean by gameplay is that even making a very dark, moody world,
To, ale w ogóle śmieszy mnie to, że te liki były wszystko
sort of
prawdą.
overpowered characters with,
To co,
really
zaczynamy
over
wierzyć w
the top
liki?
effects.
Znaczy, ja,
We know we're going to undermine,
Nie zawsze
undermine
ich
the
tam.
sense of darkness, so we want to make sure
dla
we
mnie
keep
te
that
wszystkie
intact.
liki właśnie
And then with
wyglądają na
stories,
takie...
Fejkowe
We talk
strasznie, nie?
about how victories are
Tak,
included.
No bo to było w złej
This
jakości po prostu, no.
means
No.
that sometimes evil wins. After all,
Ty,
this is
ale w ogóle
where you get sent to
skąd oni
save
wzięli
a child
liki?
Albert
Też oni nie
in
wiedzą.
Szczerze,
Diablo.
czekaj, gdzie
Guess
ten...
what? There's no saving him. This is the franchise where even after you
to
kill
możliwe
the
też.
terror himself, it's not good
Żeby
enough.
zrobić
You need to
fajt.
risk your
I
own
był
mortal
fajt.
soul to try to contain them and just fend evil off for one more day.
O Boże.
The entirety of Diablo 2 was predicated upon being
I tak
a
szczerze, to co
dollar a
mówił
day
na
late at a
Overwatch to
dollar
jest
short.
prawda.
And we basically want to encapsulate that feeling, put it in a bottle, and just create a whole world with that sense. So yeah, it's in the art, it's in the gameplay, it's in the world, and in the stories we tell.
A dobra, Ghost w ogóle...
Alright, but it's not just the darkness of the previous Diablo games that's influenced us. Every Diablo game has added great new gameplay features to the series, and we're using all of these as inspiration for Diablo 4. We're taking some of our and your favorite. Let's go back a slide real quick. Go back to that campfire. There we go.
Yeah, we're not done with that slide yet.
Yeah, I still want to talk about that campfire. Back one more.
Ty, to w sumie ten panel tylko 45-minutowy i koniec, a reszta to gówno. I tyle, ja już nie oglądam.
Features from past Diablo games and bringing them into Diablo 4. We've updated their design, their look, their feel, using our brand new engine and all the lessons that Blizzard has learned over the years. So nowhere is this as apparent as with our
Z nowymi
classics.
bohaterami,
It
czyli
starts
pewnie na
with this
panelu
campfire
innych
right
pokażą.
here. This pays homage to the classic campfire from Diablo 2, and this is one of my favorite
Myślę, że w sumie, jeżeli Overwatch 2 będzie nową grą, to według mnie powinni zrobić za pół ceny przynajmniej. Bo jednak to jest po prostu dodatkowy content.
Albo...
W sumie też, jakaś przecena, nie wiem, 50%.
Albo za darmo.
Tak. No tak. Seagal streamuje Overwatch 2. Let's see. No, zatworzył streama. Overwatch 2.
Maksymalnie to 20 zł będzie kosztować.
No chyba on będzie robił chyba wywiad z devami, so, jak wcześniej. Ze Sigmą.
Jezu i gościu, Maciek Klich, smutno mi tylko, że wydałem kasy na Overwatchu i po czasie nikt w to nie grał, a nowego OFF 2 muszę na
I też o tej grze nie wiadomo. Ja też. Znaczy, ja to streama jeszcze lagaszczuję. Trzeba jeszcze poglądać.
Alright, let's take a closer look at these classes, starting with the Barbarian.
Trzeba dostać to Seagal.
Alright, the Barbarian, you saw the slide a second ago. There's a reason we keep bringing this class back. So Barbarians are the embodiment of visceral, brutal combat.
Ale w ogóle to jest ciekawe, bo Overwatch 1 będzie miał crossplay z Overwatchem 2, ale nie rozumiem jak to będzie wyglądało, bo te gry będą miały inne silniki, nie? To będzie dziwne. Tym skitu, zobacz, Seagal siedzi w Overwatchu 2, pa.
Gdzie to jest?
Masz wysłał linka na Overwatch rozmówki.
The Barbarian Diablo 4 will have 4 weapon slots and
Dobra, oglądamy.
both one-handed and two-handed
No,
weapons in
zarobiście.
the same build. And I'm so excited about this level of customization and being able to equip 4 legendary items at the same time.
XCC odpalił Steama. Dobra, idę do XCC. No, też. Tak. No, też.
You'll
I
actually be able to
Overwatch 2,
assign
Fuse Look, no.
items to each skill slot
Do
to add
XCC
yet
chodźcie.
another layer of customization, and
Dobra, idziemy
depending
do
on what
dyskusji.
skill you use,
Znajdź mnie
Barbarian
na
will
czacie.
automatically pull out the weapon that he or she
To
needs,
napisz
so
też.
combat will continue to be seamless on the battlefield.
Na razie
We're carrying
tak.
forward Fury to power the
Six
aggressive,
consoles.
peaceful
To weź mi wyślij linka, ja mi wyślę. O, dobra.
Wiecie co, kurna, niech ta fabuła już do przodu idzie całkowicie, niech pędzi jak konie, a nie...
No, fabułę to teraz ty będziesz przecież robił, gościu, na PV.
Ja?
No,
Dobra, nowa postać, Gombi.
tak, Janvi abitka na Ejaka.
Abilitka?
Tak.
Będzie takie coś, że będziesz miał taki wielki brzuch, będziesz miał beczkę pod pachą. I w beczce będzie...
Ale ja nie mam brzucha zwykłego.
I w beczce będzie piwo. I będziesz to pił i cię to daje życie.
No dobra, a pod shiftem?
Pod shiftem będziesz miał taki atak brzucha, że tak brzuchem wyskakujesz, podrzucasz do góry.
A na ulcie E-Rape, tak?
Co?
A na ulcie będzie E-Rape.
No to bez kitu.
Hej, ochłoń trochę.
Dobra, 3 minutki. Dlatego Dobra, włączamy streama XQC i czekamy. Let's go. Deadman, ty już masz opronowe streama, nie? Ogólnie. Masz, dobra.
A czy w tym cinematiku godzina 0 był ten? Sojourn była, czy...
Była, nie wiem, była
To
ta
na
Echo
początku
i
w tym
Athena.
samolocie, nie?
Nie wiem, tam były dwie postacie nowe. Ta czarna i Athena. No też mam. No ja też. Grzano chce linka do Steama. Dasz mu? Nie, bo jakiś Elmo się pyta. Dasz mu linka? Spoko. Minutka. Ale nutka z Hearthstone'a leci. O, coś się dzieje. Dobra, już się zaczyna. Będzie.
Znaczy wiesz, no tylko to co by wychodziło z PvP do 2 pójdzie do 1.
Ja nadal nie rozumiem, jak to będzie wyglądało z tym, że PvP jest tutaj i tutaj, a dwie gry są na jednym silniku, nie? No to nie ogarniam, chyba że to będzie wyglądało tak jak Fortnite, że przy starcie masz do wybrania, wiesz, kampania albo PvP i po przejściu na PvE po prostu masz PvE i nagle z dupy ci się zmienia wszystko, nie?
Nie wiem. Zobaczymy. Dobra, może cicho bądźmy,
Dobra,
bo teraz...
jest już.
What's up, everyone? Long time no see. So
Jeff
I'm
Kaplan,
Jeff.
PogChamp.
And I'm Aaron. Okay, so Aaron's very humble. So
Long time no
how many
see.
WoW fans are here today?
Oh my god.
Okay. I'm not making this up. You can watch this on YouTube. Aaron is the gentleman who made Stormwind, Orgrimmar, Thunderbluff,
WoW
Ironforge, Darnassus for World of Warcraft. And for those of you who are Overwatch fans, what is the best map in Overwatch? Aaron made King's Row. Okay.
Thank you for all of that.
And
That's not embarrassing at all.
No, not embarrassing at all. And he prefers to be called Aaron. And everyone's been pronouncing it wrong all these years. Aaron,
That's my mom. Yeah. Okay.
So, Overwatch 2, we're talking about it in detail now.
I'm
Bez
so,
kitu,
so
Jeff to jest najlepszy
excited to talk
deweloper,
to
jakiego
all
można
of
mieć.
you about Overwatch 2. We said it in opening ceremonies. It's so hard not to be able to talk about it with friends and family and actually use the name Overwatch 2. But here we go.
There it is.
You want to start with push?
You start. You kick
Okay.
it off.
Okay, so we've built a lot of game modes for Overwatch over the years. Things like Junkensteins or Capture the Flag or Lucio Ball.
Będą
But
gadać o
those
tym,
have
o tym trybie
always been
nowym.
featured in the arcade. Push is the first game mode that we've released since launch that is what we call a core game mode. And a core game mode is something that you will be able to play in quick play, it's something that you'll play in competitive, and it's also something that the Overwatch League is going to play. Let's take a look at a video that kind of goes into it in a little more detail.
Cool. Yeah, let's check it out.
Okay, so the push map that we're showing today takes place in Toronto, Canada.
Pociąg.
Yes.
Mapa Kanady.
The objective of push is for both teams to
Kanada,
escort
pociąg.
a robot into enemy territory. The team that pushes it the furthest before time expires wins the match. That's the robot.
Who is ready to push? I am.
As you stand near
Ty nie
the
za w ogóle
robot, it will start moving
oglądasz
towards
BlizzCon?
the enemy's face.
Until May gets conked.
Yeah, exactly. As the robot
Nie, ona
moves,
przecież ma
it pushes
tygrysły.
a barricade marker further into enemy territory. The further the marker goes, the higher
Ten typ
your
odchodzi.
team's score
What the
gets.
fuck?
As it
Ten-
hits
ten
a
tryb jest nawet
checkpoint,
spoko.
the team will unlock a forward spawn point.
Ja trochę tego nie rozumiem.
He's a little itchy.
Yeah, I love this guy. As he's pushing the barricade marker, the robot moves slower. But when he's not pushing the marker, he moves a lot faster. This allows teams to make up lost ground really quickly in the mode. Okay, so
Przechodzi do innej strony.
May needs to escort the robot further into enemy territory than Brigitte's team did. And if she can escort it all the way till the end of the map, it'll result in an instant victory for her and her team. Like this.
Victory.
Yeah, I would say so far internally we don't have a lot of the maps go all the way to the end, which is a good thing. Most
Yeah.
of the maps are like more back and forth.
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the design values that we had for Push is it's more interesting to have that robot move back and forth across the map. And if you look at the map, you can see that it's mirrored. The geometry is mirrored from one side to the other. It's a symmetrical map. And the game mode itself is a symmetrical game mode. What that means is each team has the same objective that they need to accomplish in order to win the match. This is similar to something like Control. Control, both teams are vying for one control point in the middle of the map. What I think is really cool about Push, though, is as the robot moves back and forth across the map, the team fights that are everything in these symmetrical modes happen all across the map, in contrast to Control, where a lot of them happen at the control point in the middle of the map. If you look at this next shot, you can see that the path that winds its way through Toronto in this map is really windy. That red line illustrates the path that the robot takes through Toronto. What this means is that there's a lot of different shortcuts and connections in order to connect different parts of the path. This makes the game mode really flanky. And heroes that you might not see in some of our other game modes, or you might not see as prominently, such as Reaper and Tracer, are really, really powerful in this game mode. Internally in our testing, we typically use different comps in Push than we do in all the other game modes. And I can't wait for you guys to play it. You can play it on the show floor today and see what sort of team compositions you guys create.
Cool. Let's take a look at Toronto a
Ten
little bit.
tryb
Why don't we
będzie
talk
ciekawy w
about
sumie.
some of our values from a world building standpoint?
Yeah, so when we build maps, we always like to take players on a journey all across the world. And we like to visit unique and exciting and exotic locations.
Będzie kiedyś
and when we
przecież.
build
Powinno
them,
być przynajmniej.
we try to make them fit the ideal or the fantasy of what we've always imagined that place in the world to be. With Toronto, it's the red maple trees, It's
Kiedy Belgia.
ice rinks, a curling arena,
Yeah,
a statue of a hockey player.
Tons of hockey. Very multicultural. So Toronto was a
A
blast to
fucking
work
leaf,
on.
Pepelov.
But what's very exciting for our players to know is that there's going to be all new PvP maps, not just for push, which will have multiple
New
maps
PvP
with it.
maps.
It won't
3
just
mapy
be
będą.
Toronto, but every current core game mode in Overwatch
Mapa
is gonna
Szwecji,
get
ty.
Overwatch 2 maps.
Yeah, we'll get multiple maps for every game
Taka
mode.
środkowa.
And I
Prawie
think
widać.
this is so exciting because the game, when
To ostatnia
Overwatch 2
to...
launches, it's
A
gonna
ta,
feel
a
like
ta ostatnia
such
jest
a
chyba,
new
nie wiem, wydaje mi się, że Australia?
I know we're gonna talk a
Nie,
lot about
to nie jest Rio,
the
czy jest?
cooperative
Nie
missions
wiem.
up here, but even on
Mi
the
to wygląda na
PvP
Australię w
side of
sumie.
the game,
No, nie wiem
having
czemu.
a bunch of new maps
Siema,
to play
Kubold.
on is gonna make this feel like a
Oglądasz
totally
blisko,
new
Kubold?
experience for Overwatch 2 players.
Yeah,
A.
let's check it out. We've got some
Ta ostatnia mapa
footage
to
here
Monte
now.
Carlo, jak
I
coś.
have to warn everybody,
Serio?
all of this is work in
No.
progress. We are hard at work on Overwatch 2 right now. So none of the maps
Gothenburg,
that
no.
you're seeing
Let's see.
are finished. Not
Gothenburg.
even Toronto, not even Rio out on the show floor today. None of them are finished. They're all gonna be that much cooler when we're done. We're also looking forward to getting a lot of
2CP,
play testing, a
please.
lot of feedback, but you can see some of the
O,
locations
Monte Carlo.
that we're really excited
Ładne.
to explore.
To jest
And
payload
many of
też.
these maps we've been playing for a while now and having a really good time.
Yeah, I think one of the great things about making maps for the Overwatch universe is that
My już mamy mapy Łycobola w Rio.
locations all across the world. So we have people from Brazil working on a Rio de Janeiro map, people from Sweden working on
Sporo ich będzie.
Gothenburg, people
A Hiro,
from
no to
Toronto
Echo i
actually
Soczewski.
working on Toronto, and they're able to bring all of their love and passion and experience in these places to bear when they're actually building the map.
Yeah. So we know that you all love new maps. There are a lot of new maps coming with Overwatch 2, a lot of new locations, places that you want to see, like Gothenburg. There's a couple of heroes from Gothenburg we think would be really cool. But it's time to talk about story missions. So story has been requested from us a lot. Like we get a lot of comments. And we think it's awesome. Like
Story
you have all
missions, hell yeah. Let's
followed
see.
the story so far. You've been following it for some time, and you're ready for more. And we are ready to deliver. Now, I'm gonna do a quick recap on like where the story's at right now. So obviously, this is since the original game. The original game started with Overwatch being shut down. Overwatch was this international peacekeeping force. The UN issued this thing called the Petrus Act, and that shut Overwatch down. Then, because of the absence of Overwatch and the heroism that they brought to the world, new threats were able to arise, and all sorts of bad stuff started to happen. There was the uprising in London. There was Talon. Like Talon really became much more of a threat and gained in power in this sort of new vacuum that we had. But our good buddy Winston had the idea to initiate the recall. And what the recall is about is he knows it's illegal to
Recall.
reach out to all of the Overwatch agents, the former Overwatch agents, and basically say to them, hey, it's time to get back together. Like, now's the time. The world needs us now more than ever. So then we had a series of animated shorts, and it was really fun to explore these and kind of go on this journey to see how different heroes reacted to the recall. There was, for example, in Honor and Glory, you know, Reinhardt, in the most steadfast way, said, I must answer the call, while Brigitte was sort of begging him not to at a certain point. Whereas May, who was working at Eco Point Antarctica, you know, she wasn't necessarily a hero. She was more of just a scientist at the time.
Brigitta.
But Winston's recall really
Szmata.
inspired her into heroism, which was great. And then there was that last BlizzCon we showed Reunion with McCree. And McCree's very strange reaction. Like, okay, Winston called me back, but I'm going to bring Echo back instead.
Yeah. McCree kind of pieced out at that moment.
Yeah.
Who knows where the guy went, what he's doing around the world, but I have a feeling we'll be seeing more of him.
We might see more of McCree. I didn't see him in 0 Hour. The name of the movie we showed today, by the way, is 0 Hour, the Paris attacks. So I didn't see him there. So I'm
Więcej
wondering
Kree,
what's up
pokczam.
with McCree. So 0 Hour, that brings us up to today. So Paris is under attack. It's null sector again, but it's not the null sector from back in King's Row. This is an all-out attack on the entire world. The good news is, joining Winston in Paris were some of the members of Overwatch. Some responded to the call, they're back, they're ready for action. But the world is attacked, and the world is under strife, and you, as a player, are gonna get to take the place of our heroes and see what the next chapter holds for Overwatch. So we really hope you play that demo today. It will show you just kicking off where we're at. Now, the coolest part about getting to do story missions is something that we hear often from you is that you love our cinematics. Thank you. They're made by a group called Story and Franchise Development. We get to work with some of the most talented animators, producers, directors. We're really, really lucky to work with them. Every one of our story missions will get a cinematic introduction and we'll get a cinematic outro. So you'll experience that.
Szczerze, jeżeli Blizzard by zrobił film o Overwatch, by było koda.
Rio de Janeiro
Animacje są na
demo
najwyższym.
that we have. Now, I've got to give a warning to everybody. The outro is a placeholder for the actual movie. So I will just say this. I'm going to give a spoiler right
Oh, no.
So at the very end, what's May's famous line at the very end? Lucio! Lucio doesn't actually die.
Spoiler, pokczam.
That's all you need to know. But we're excited for the cinematic storytelling that we get to do. You finally get to spend a lot of time with these heroes. So in a story mission,
Lucio umierał.
it's very curated by us. Like, we get to pick which heroes you're going to play in a story mission because we're trying to tell a particular story. So in Rio, for example, we've got May, we've got Reinhardt, Lucio, and Tracer. Those are the heroes that you can adventure with.
Yeah, I think what's really interesting about story missions and even with hero missions, all of the cooperative gameplay that we're trying to do is one of our goals is to bring a lot of the fast-paced action that you get in Overwatch PvP, where you're using all of your heroes' abilities, your comboing abilities with other heroes. You have a lot of strategic decisions that you make with your teammates. We're trying to bring that to the PvE side of the game, or the side where you play versus AI. And
Kombosy, let's go.
It's difficult to do because of the fast-paced nature of it. So that cinematic storytelling that Jeff was just talking about, that gives us the freedom to create more of those spaces. We can pull the story out to the cinematics and allow the gameplay to really flow as you're playing through any of the missions.
So one thing that we're experimenting with, because Overwatch 2 still has a ways to go. It's a game that's actively in development. We're working extremely hard on it right now. One of the experiments that we're doing right now is we're trying to give you some choice in what hero you can play in these story missions. And I don't mean like choice between the 4 heroes. What I mean is, for example, in Rio, both Mercy and Genji are present on the mission as well. Wouldn't it be cool in this mission if you had a choice not only between, Reinhardt, Tracer, Lucio, May, but also like maybe if I wanted to play Mercy instead or Genji. So we're trying that out right now. Like, obviously it doesn't work for all heroes because like Roadhog wouldn't make a lot of sense helping the team out in Rio. But we'll see how that goes. We'll keep you guys updated. I think it could be pretty cool. Now, another new development that you'll experience when you play the demo today is that we've added an item system to the story missions. Now, this is not an item system. It's not like Diablo where like loot's going to be popping out of robots and we're all looking at the ground, picking up gold and that kind of thing. And it's not like WoW where we're waiting for the boss at the end of the mission and we're going to kill it and then Aaron's going to roll on my drop. But it's... The item system, I would say, is more equivalent to what you see in like a battle royale game. If you guys have played like Apex Legends or PUBG, it's a temporary item pickup that you have for the length of that mission, and you'll find these at different moments throughout the mission. And they have different abilities. So we're looking at here is a healing station that's actually of epic quality. So there's different quality levels to them too. But like Aaron might prefer the corrosive grenade.
Yeah, if let's say you're playing Lucio, you might
Dobra,
not
ale
want to
ci
pick up the healing station.
data,
You're already healing
cena.
everybody in your party.
Please.
So something like the corrosive grenade, which,
No jak to komuś
helps
nie
you
będzie.
deal extra damage to enemies,
To
is a
jesteś
really good choice.
deweloperem gry? Nie jesteś.
Another item that we added was this thing called the barrier fence. This is like a cylindrical barrier, kind of similar to how Winston's work. You drop it down, it sits in place. This one's been super awesome. Like if your group's having a lot of trouble and people need to be revived, you can drop the barrier fence down and it gives you an opportunity to revive them. So we hope that the item system adds some variety to the story missions and also lets you accommodate for the type of player you are and gives you some options when you're playing the missions.
Ale oni?
There's also in the Rio demo, there's a very rare item, kind of, I want to say hidden, but it's not really hidden.
You're giving it all away.
I'm giving it all away, but see if you can get it. Okay, cool.
Okay, so hero missions. While story missions are really designed to take players through a story experience, hero missions are designed to be deeply replayable. I think one of the great things about Blizzard games are that we make lifestyle games. And what I mean by that is we make games that you can play as your main game or you can play as your only game. I think that hero missions fit into the role where you can play them night after night, week after week, and year after year. This is really the long tail.
Decade after decade.
Was I getting a little too dramatic with that? Okay, I do that sometimes. You know, so like one of the analogies that we use internally for hero missions is they're our equivalent to adventure mode in Diablo or world quests in World of Warcraft. So it's something that we really want you to be able to sink a lot of time into. And we'll get into progression a little bit later, but it really dovetails with the hero progression in Overwatch 2. Those two systems rely on each other, and they kind of play with each other back and forth. Now, I think that for hero missions, there's a lot of different things that make them replayable and give them the variety that you need to be able to play them for a long period of time. And one of those is varied locations. And what I mean by this is that hero missions will take place all across the globe in new levels that are coming to Overwatch 2, and in all of the levels that we've already built for Overwatch 1, you'll be able to play hero missions in all of those.
So another cool variable that you'll have with hero missions that will keep it fresh and new is that the objectives will keep changing.
Yeah, so you could do all sorts of different objectives in hero missions. We want them to feel kind of fresh and new each time you go into one of them. So one hero mission
będzie mi
might
brakowało
be
jeszcze
surviving
właśnie
a holdout in
takiego motywu
Winston's
z
lab
ratowania
in
świata.
Gibraltar,
Że można
or
sobie
another one might be
ulepszać broni w
taking
ogóle
out
z
a
Fortnite'a.
like a null
To było
sector
koło tak.
behemoth in Route
Na przykład robić sobie
66.
taki młot lepszy do
And so
Reina z
we'll
nowymi
have you
abilitkami.
going through a lot of different locations, doing a lot of different objectives, and the third piece to them is the hero roster that you'll be able to pick from. So in story missions, we're trying to tell a very specific narrative, and we need there to be certain heroes there. And like Jeff said earlier, it doesn't really make a lot of sense for Widowmaker and Tracer to go out on a story mission together. But in hero mode, we want you to be able to pick from all of the different heroes that are available.
Yeah, we feel like hero choice is extremely important.
Kogo obchodzi za jazda?
One of the things that in general, both story missions and hero missions, we're really excited for is the promise of
Goście z tym
Overwatch
śmienikiem,
is
który
that
sobie,
there's
kurde, nie wiem,
these 31
który
amazing
se żyje
heroes
miliard
for us
lat,
to
jelo.
play with. But the reality for a lot of us is I might be good with about 4 of them. And if I care about my SR at all, I maybe only play like 4 or 5 heroes, even though I really would love to explore this hero roster. The good news is we feel like in the PvE side of the game, you really get a lot of exploration through the heroes. And I think hero missions in particular will feel great to play and level up different heroes.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a lot of reasons to pick from different heroes here. As Jeff mentioned, and if you're playing competitive, you might want to stick to just a few. But as you're going on different hero missions, you might want to pick a particular hero because you think it's really good for a certain objective type. Bastion and Reinhardt work really, really well in holdouts, you know? You might also be picking a hero because as we get into the progression system, you'll see you might want to start leveling up a hero because you're really excited about a particular build that you might be able to get for that hero.
I can't wait to talk about the progression system. But before we do, there's one more part of what's going to keep the hero missions fresh and keep them interesting, and that's different enemy groups.
Yeah, so
Progression system.
well, you'll be able to play against a lot of different enemy groups in hero missions for Overwatch 2. You saw Null Sector in 0 Hour, the cinematic that we showed during opening
Null
ceremonies.
Sector.
There's
Sector
also
Zero.
Talon. Talon has obviously been a force for
Ty
evil
jakiś,
in the Overwatch
gruby,
universe, and I hope
gruby
that we can
mak tam
see
jeszcze
more
stoi,
of
pa.
them in Overwatch 2 and kind
Sporo
of
ich
see what
jest.
they're up to. And then
Sporo z tych nowych.
beyond those two, you know, there's other things. There's other threats that are out there in the Overwatch universe, and I'm hoping that we can see
Yeah, I
some
think
other
everyone
enemies.
can imagine some amazing enemy groups that they'd love to fight against in Overwatch 2. And we're going to make them. All right, so the progression system. This is really exciting. Now, I have to caveat this a bit. As I mentioned, Overwatch 2 is still in development. We have a long ways to go
Progression.
before this game is fully ready. So we're only showing you kind of a part of the progression system right now. And it's also likely that progression could change a lot from now and the time that the game is released. You need a lot of iteration, a lot of play testing on this type of system. But we wanted to share parts of it with you. So by no means is this comprehensive. This isn't the only ideas that we have. This is sort of the tip of the iceberg. And it will give you a sense of the direction that we're exploring right now. So an interesting thing to talk about is the talent system. So we had originally designed the talent system for hero missions, not story missions. But as we were approaching BlizzCon this year, we knew that we were going to show a story mission,
Ooh la la.
and we didn't have any progression stuff to show.
Mam
And we
nadzieję, że
thought
jeszcze
it was
tego
super
będzie
fun,
więcej.
so we actually hooked up the talent system from hero missions into the story experience.
Zaraz sobie Vortex.
And there was like a funny side effect of that, where many members of the Overwatch team were like, actually, this is really awesome and super
Hindsight.
fun, and I hope we figure out a way to keep
Skolek.
talents in the story missions eventually when they happen. So I don't know if that's going to be the case by the time the game launches, but for now you can see Tracer has a level. She can level up, and at different levels she gets different selection of talents. And these talents do different things. They definitely have player power involved.
Mam
That's
nadzieję,
the
że tych
goal.
abilitek
We want
będzie
you to
więcej
feel more
w czasie, nie?
powerful.
Bo na razie
Now,
to
I
jest
know a lot
tylko,
of people
nie wiem, koncept ich.
raised an eyebrow when I
Mam
said
nadzieję, że
that.
to będzie więcej strasznie.
Any sort of talents or progression or anything like that is not going to come into the competitive part of the
Ooh la
game.
la.
We're not
Pa-
going to
power
make it
level,
so
let's
my
go.
tracer is more powerful than your tracer. Well, mine is, but anybody else's tracer is more powerful. We want to keep it a fair playing field. But like we always say, when it comes to PvE, the robots don't post on the forums.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We can make it unfair. You know,
It
and
could
I
be
think-
OP, yeah.
Yeah, we
Ten
have a
Jeff
lot of
Kaplan.
values that we're trying to adhere to as we design the progression system. As Jeff said earlier, like one of those is to make your heroes feel more powerful. You'll become more powerful. You'll be doing more damage as you progress through this system. But that's not all. We want you to feel more versatile. We want you to be able to put together a build for your hero that fits your particular play style. And we also just want your hero to be able to feel different from other people's heroes as well.
So I think adaptive reload is a great example of a talent. I'm not sure if you all can read adaptive reload, but the gist of it is whenever Tracer does an ability like blink or recall, her pistols reload automatically. And like this is a talent that speaks to you and your play style.
Yeah, so I pick adaptive reload a lot because every time you use any ability, she gets a full clip again. And so if you use this correctly and you kind of play Tracer with the right cadence, you never run out of ammo. You always have it, and it just feels so powerful.
Now, other players don't have an issue with Tracer's reload cadence. It feels natural to them. They're used to it.
Is there like a problem with the way that I...
No,
Okay.
no, it's okay. The world needs you too, Aaron. But
God.
you know, some other players might want to take an ability like Chain Reaction,
Spotty ma
which
właśnie równo blisko.
is a little bit more powerful, but centered more around her ultimate. And this one, I think the video just shows it best, and it sort of speaks for itself. So we can check it out here in action. So yeah, that'd be
Chain reaction.
Imagine that in
That's
PvP.
huge.
That would team kill. Yeah.
What
So,
the fuck?
Obviously, we think that would be awesome. Now, let's show you some other talents that are work in progress, but we think are cool.
Yeah, this one is super exciting. So this
Any
is
Hanzo mains out there? Yeah.
Okay, so Jiro's guidance. This is any arrow
Sojiro.
that hits an enemy
To jest
detected
od
by
Hanzo.
Sonic Arrow
O,
will seek and pierce all other detected enemies. I know it's kind of a mouthful, but you can see it in the
to
video here.
huge.
The talent speaks for itself. So, and this one is cool too because Sonic Arrow is useful in PvE, but nowhere to the degree that it is
What
in
the
the competitive
fuck?
side of the game. So this
What
adds
the
a lot
fuck?
of usefulness to it on the PvE side of the game.
Yeah, and
Kozackie.
hopefully you guys can start using your imagination for the different types of things that we'll be able to do with talents here and how you'll be able to use some of them to kind of combo into other abilities.
So,
Oh, gosh.
oh yeah, here it comes. This one is called Epic Enter.
Jeśli to travel in all the directions, to też jest fajne.
Did I say it wrong?
No, that was
Okay.
perfect.
Okay. Oh, epicenter. Okay. As many of you know, Reinhardt's Earth Shatter ability is a cone-based ability. But imagine if it worked in 365 degrees.
Epicenter.
Yep.
360 degrees. Because 365 degrees would be breaking mathematics.
Sure.
Yeah.
I actually think what this one does is it makes a bicycle magically appear.
Wow, and it did make a bicycle magically appear. So really fun for you, Reinhardt.
Where does it come
Yeah,
from?
where
Oh
does
my
it-
god, huge.
I think it makes a robot transform into a bicycle. Yeah. Aaron and I have watched this like 500 times, and it doesn't get old.
Not at all.
So this one was in the gameplay movie. Do you want to talk about
Yeah,
it?
okay, so this is a cryo freeze ability, and when it ends, it'll instantly freeze all nearby enemies. And if any of you are May players,
Cold
you'll
snap.
kind of, yes, you'll know that like coming out of cryo freeze is kind of a scary moment where all the enemies are just kind of waiting there to blast you. And so this talent kind of takes care of that.
Yeah, so it gives her a lot of utility, and it adds to that the defensive nature of the ability. Obviously, in the competitive side of the game, this would be
Lol.
my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
Speaking, okay,
Yes.
this is the best.
I love this one. I hope you guys
No,
really like
follow
this
me.
one. Snowball effect. Internally, we just call this bowling for robots.
Yeah.
Snowball effect.
You can't let the hamster have all the fun.
No.
Yeah. Let's see it one more time.
What the fuck?
Okay, awesome. So,
Hammond.
this is another ability that you saw in the gameplay trailer earlier today. The reason I like this
Ty
one,
Hammond, bez kitu.
I don't know if anybody plays Genji like I do, but when I play
Dragon Breath.
Genji and I press
O,
my
to jest
ultimate
pokciampowe.
ability button,
Abilitka.
usually there's no one anywhere near me. And I'm standing there and my dash is on cooldown and I just kind of feel stupid. And then like I go back and I watch those YouTubes and I'm like, how did they do it?
True.
Yeah, need healing.
Yeah, exactly. But this ability is made for someone like me. So he actually gets to shoot out a projectile from his sword. So it gives a lot of extra ability. You know, you could really tune Genji to your playstyle and really adjust it.
Ale to jest pokciampowe.
So one
Projectile'owy
of the cool
sword.
things is like, imagine if we started to combine talents. Like, it's not like the
My
heroes are
babies,
just gonna have
flamethrower.
one talent. They're gonna have a bunch of talents they can pick from and create builds.
Yeah, and so this is an example of two talents at the same time. The first one is Torbjorn turning his turret into a flamethrower rather than a minigun. And then the second turret allows him to place 3 mini turrets instead of one large turret.
So this is the kind of combination we're really hoping to see out of the PvE side of the game.
This poor last robot.
Yeah,
I
he
feel
took it
so
all.
bad for him.
Just like a fire hose to the face.
Oh my god, 3 naraz.
One more time.
Aren't fire hoses water?
Oh, the terrible analogy. I already said there's 365 degrees. I used the water hose analogy for the flamethrower. Okay, awesome. Now, another huge part of Overwatch 2 is all of the upgrades coming to the engine. I've seen some confusion. I see people keep calling it a new engine. It is a greatly upgraded version of the engine, but
Hero
it's not a
visual.
new engine. I think that's important to point out. There's a panel tomorrow where John LaFleur, who's our tech director, Arnold Sang, who's our assistant art director,
A
Bill
to nie jest ten
Petras, who
silnik
is our
nowy.
art director, they're going to tell you
Po prostu
all in
ulepszenie.
depth about the upgraded hero
No.
visuals and the massive upgrades coming to the
Really
Overwatch
jump.
2 engine. But for now, we wanted to share with you guys some of the idea of why do we want to do upgrades to the hero visuals. Obviously, there's some part of it where it's a brand new game. We want it to have a new look. We want it to feel fresh and awesome, and you know, just really, really overwhelm you with how beautiful the game could be. But we also wanted to show some passage of time as well. Like we were doing a lot of storytelling in this game, and we want to show the journey of the heroes. A good analogy that I like to use when talking about how and why we decided to upgrade the hero visuals is Batman. So, you know, Batman has existed really over the decades. There's been, you know, early comic book Batman from the original comic. There was the 60s live action TV show, Batman. There was the 80s, yeah, Adam West, yeah, it's awesome. There's the 80s Tim Burton movie, Batman. There was the Christopher Nolan Batman. But all of those versions of Batman was instantly recognizable. Every time you saw him, you'd never mistook him for another superhero. They were all iconic, but they were all different from one another. And that's been sort of our guiding vision for updating the hero look. So, like, we can take a look at Genji right now. There's classic Genji and Overwatch 2 Genji. And Overwatch 2 Genji, obviously there's a lot of visual upgrades that happen to him. But
Genji
from a
skin
story
jest
perspective,
pokrzampowy.
you see that he's kind of at a different point in his journey as well, as you saw in 0 Hour. So here's a sneak peek. I don't think anybody's seen Torbjorn or Bastion's new looks yet.
Miraculously.
The internet was lazy this
So.
week and left these
Bastion z czapką.
for Friday. I don't know why. It's so boring. But these are kind of cool. Like, you want to talk about Torb and Bastion a little bit?
Yeah, so I love it. So this kind of this look that they have, it kind of pairs Torbjorn and Bastion up with each other. So Bastion is now in the story living with Torbjorn. So some of the
Torb
upgrades
ma
that
nowy
he's
młot,
getting
pokrzamp.
are from Torbjorn himself. And if you look, he's actually wearing one of Torbjorn's favorite hats. You know, he needs to keep the sun out of his eyes,
Mieszkają razem
rain
z
off
Torbem,
his head, or
XD.
something like that.
Totally need that.
No z
Robot.
Torbjornem, Bastion mieszkają razem.
Cool. So this is actually rendered in the Overwatch 2 engine. These are the actual character models. And, you know, obviously they all have the new looks here, but other things that's going on here is we have a completely new way of doing eyes in the game. We have a new way of rendering hair, skin. All of these things are focuses of our art team and our graphics engine team.
Oh my
right
god,
now.
new skin.
Just
I
makes
lost.
the characters look amazing and beautiful. And when you play Overwatch 2, you'll see we spend a lot of time bringing the characters even closer to the camera because we're really proud at how they're looking right now.
Yeah, so much of Overwatch is just about the heroes. Like, we love the heroes in the world of Overwatch. I hope that all of you guys love the heroes in the world of Overwatch. And yes,
Thank
and
you.
we just want to be able to get up closer to them. We want you guys to be able to see them in more detail. And so we're putting all this time and energy into it. And with this new game, with Overwatch 2, we have a big story that we want to tell too.
Hello,
So,
cena?
the
Hello,
engine needs
data?
all these upgrades. The map that you guys can play
Jak wrzucił
on
film
the
już w
show
ogóle, ty.
floor, Rio de Janeiro, it's twice
What
the
the fuck?
size of any map that we've ever made for the game. And
Szybko.
the guts of the engine have just had to get upgraded in order for us to be able to deliver all of this story to you guys.
So the hero visuals and the map stuff, like Aaron's talking about, is not the only new changes to the game. We've also completely upgraded the HUD. So you're seeing that here. We're trying, the goal with the HUD is to get it out of your way. So you're not thinking about it. It's more something that you feel and intuitively
Nowy
it
HUD.
gives you the
Lepszy
information you
według
need.
mnie.
Now, I
Ładniejszy.
know you are all going to be very
No.
opinionated about the HUD. The good news is we are still early in
Lepszy jest to
development,
bardzo.
and every single hero in both the Rio demo and the Toronto demo has a new HUD. So you can give us feedback on all of them.
No i
and
w
we have
ogóle
time to
ten
make
piorunek
tweaks
trzeba
and
bylić, zobacz sobie.
adjustments.
Prawo.
This was done by an artist named Jason Kirby, who works on our team, who did
Nie ma.
the new HUD. One of the things I love the most is the new Mercy
W
UI.
ogóle,
Yeah, I love it. You
i w
can
ogóle
see the
zmienili interfejs,
Farah
zobacz.
portrait down there. You see who she's healing
To jest
with the
dobre też.
health around it. You can
No.
also see there's new hit markers around the reticle. We have new edge of screen effects. We take this part of the game really, really serious. Overwatch PvP is all about split-second decisions, really fast reads, and the HUD gives you a
Czemu
lot of
ludzie narzekają
information.
na
So
HUD?
like
Jest przecież
Jeff
piękny.
said, we are looking at this really carefully. If you guys have feedback
W tej
on it,
gierce
we'd love
nie
to
chodzi o
hear
HUD,
it.
tylko chodzi
We
o
have
walkę. Nie
time
wiem,
to
walczysz sobie,
make it better, and
ale
we're gonna
fajnie
do
bitka.
everything we can to do that.
Yeah, and it's not just the HUD. Every screen of interface is updated in Overwatch 2. So your menus, how you browse the hero gallery.
W sumie, jeżeli by zrobili w gierce opcję wybranie HUD-a, nie? Albo pierwszą wersję, albo drugą. To było fajne. No, wybierasz sobie opcję z HUD-em, jak chcesz grać, ale i nie ma problemu.
Use some help when finding the one you want. We're upgrading all of those elements. There's even things, some of you will notice this when you play Toronto, there's even a new announcer. And I'd be curious if you recognize who the voice is of that new announcer.
So mysterious.
Yeah, that's a big, big hint right there. So cool. What is Aaron?
Komentator
when we say
nowy jest.
Overwatch is all about one thing. What is always the answer?
Heroes.
So Overwatch 2 will obviously come with brand new heroes. Now, what's important to us with the Overwatch 2 heroes is not only do they
Bohaterzy
fit
nowy.
gameplay roles that are very important to the game right now, things that we feel that the game needs, but also that the hero's story is centered in the story of Overwatch 2. So Sojourn is coming to Overwatch 2. She's our first Canadian hero. Yeah, I should say second Canadian hero.
Ta, ona
because
jest
the first
z
is
Kanady.
Arnold Sang, our assistant art director, and we love him dearly. But Sojourn will be the second one coming.
Canadian, let's go,
Sojourn is right at the center of the story of Overwatch 2. So we hope you liked her in Storm Rising. You're going to get to spend a lot more time with her when it comes to Overwatch 2. And she is by far not the only character coming to Overwatch 2. There are few heroes that will all come at once. I don't know how many of you remember, but there was, way back in the beta, we added Diva, Mei, and Genji all at the same time. And it was probably the most beautiful chaos I've ever seen in a video game. Well, maybe the Encourage Gate opening. That was some good video game chaos. But Overwatch 2 is going to really add some mix-ups to the meta, introduce, we think, characters that you're going to love, characters that you've been waiting for. So something we're very, very excited for, new heroes coming to Overwatch 2.
Gameplay z tego?
Now, I want to touch on this again. I mentioned opening ceremonies.
No
and
był tam,
between
nie?
opening ceremonies and the panel, I've been spending time reading
5
people's
bohaterów naraz będzie
reaction,
chodziło.
and there seems like there's so
O.
much confusion about what does redefining a
Skull.
sequel mean. So I'm going to try to put it in a different way this time. Imagine we're coming up with a brand new game that we're dying to make, and it's called Overwatch 2, and we start to think of the feature list that we want. We want brand new heroes. We want all new PvP maps, like a whole roster, you know, equivalent to what we did in the first game of PvP maps. We want to have story missions, hero missions. We're going to add progression. We're adding talents. We're upgrading the engine. We're adding new looks to all the characters. We're like, that sounds like an amazing sequel to us. Does it sound like one to you? Okay. Now, you all know what the video game industry does. And you are the most powerful people in the video game industry. It is not us. It is you. You have more of a say than anybody else. And how many times imagine your favorite game. It could, let's say it's a game that has, I don't know, Space Marine in it, that has PvP and PvE and has a story, and you want to play Space Marine number 3 because you've been playing Space Marine number 2, and the day that comes out, you lose all your stuff, and then your buddy, because his grandma didn't buy it for him for Christmas, is playing Space Marine 2 and you're playing Space Marine 3.
And you don't get to play together.
You don't get to play together. And all the stuff that I earned in Space Marine 2 doesn't come with me. We think that sucks. We don't think that should be rewarded by you, the most important people in the game industry. So we wanted to make it so that every one of the new PvP maps that's coming to Overwatch 2, every one of the new heroes that's coming to Overwatch 2, and new heroes beyond that will go to the players, our dedicated fans who have been with us for all these years from the original game. We think that's important. We also feel like it's important for all that hard work that you've done. The Baptiste vampire skin you all just earned last week. Do you want it to go away? No. We want it to come with us. So that's what we mean by redefining a sequel. I know there's a lot of confusion. I actually think it's really simple. The game is a big game. It is a true sequel in all of its features and everything it does. We just don't want to be jerks about all of our loyal players who might be wondering if they should get the game or not. That's the idea.
That's great.
So, I know there's some unanswered questions, so I want to touch on this real quick. We never said, where are you going to play this game? No one ever asked. It's coming to, obviously, Battle.net on the PC platform, the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. So every single platform we support today will be supported for Overwatch 2. I totally didn't hear what you said at all. Also, I know the other big question is like, well, when do we get it? What's the date on this thing? I don't know. I have no idea. Like, just let us make it great. Like, that's what we care about more than anything. We don't have a date in mind. We are going to work so hard. Like, today is the most important day in Overwatch 2's development because I feel like to this point, it's been just our small team. And today's the day that we bring you, the big team, into it. And what do you want out of the game? You're going to all go, you're going to play the demo, you're going to post feedback, you're going to talk to us here today. We want to hear from you what needs to change, what features are we missing, what's going to be cool, what isn't cool. So I don't have a date.
No, and I mean, we love this game so much, and we just want you guys to love it too, the same way that we do.
So we're probably going to go dark after BlizzCon. I know there's going to be a million questions, and people are going to want to hear, okay, like reveal another hero or show me, like, have you ever wondered what Moira's new look might be? Yeah, it's amazing,
it's so
by the way. But God, we're just jerks.
We are.
We're jerks right now.
It feels so good.
Moira.
There's still some cool stuff coming. Stuff. But we're going to be quiet. We are going to be quiet. We have a lot of work to do. The team is focused on Overwatch 2. That doesn't mean we are leaving the live service behind. There are still some cool updates coming. We want to add new stuff. Now, I want to get this out there right away. We are not adding a new Archives event to Archives this year because we are focused on Overwatch 2. We feel like that's the better storytelling experience. We are still going to run the Archives event. There will be new skins. There's going to be new cosmetic content. There are also other awesome features coming to the live game that we think you should be excited about. Coming very soon, you are going to get to select what you do when you are waiting for roll queue to kick in. So if you'd like to go to the training room, we're going to let you do that. If you would like to play a new deathmatch mode that we're adding just for waiting, you can play that.
O!
If you would like to go to
Co?
custom game and or
Co wiedział?
workshop and play whatever the hell you want, you can do that very soon. So
Oh,
there are
let's
lots of cool
go.
updates coming to the original game, but please bear with us
Let's
while
go.
we focus on Overwatch 2.
Czyli w kolejce
We
będzie
wanna
można
make
grać
it
wszystko.
amazing for all of you.
No i świetnie.
Thank you all so much.
No, w kolejce
I know
będzie na rankedy,
how many
będziesz
cool
mógł
things
rankedy
there are
grać.
at BlizzCon for you to check out. The fact that so many people came here today to spend time with me and Aaron, it means the world
O,
to
Teko,
us.
z jakiej racji Overwatch 2 ma wyjść za darmo? Kłóci się z
Please
jakimiś
go play
bachorami
the
na
demo.
profil
Go have
Overwatch.
fun and see our art panel tomorrow.
Thank you, BlizzCon.
Thank you.
Właśnie, też się nie rozumiem.
Thank you for attending Overwatch What's Next. Coming up,
Pierwsza część nie
World of
będzie
Warcraft.
zaniedbana, więc co to jest?
Myślałem, że pochwaloną
Dzieciaki
przynajmniej cenę.
płaczą, bo będą musieli wydać 250 zł kolejne. A ja bym jej dał nawet jeszcze więcej za tą grę, jak będzie tak zajebista.
Firma ma wypuścić grę, na którą pracuje mega długo i ciężko, za darmo, lol.